A lot of people are asking me how to make money online and especially how to get started in this business and what all is needed from their end to be able to start making money online. In this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly what you need to start out to make money online, and you will see actually it doesn't really take much, especially if you compare that to setting up and starting a traditional business, which we also call a brick and mortar business. It's pretty much nothing. It's just a fraction of the effort and the cost and everything that is needed. If you want to support me, please do me a favor, like this video, subscribe to my channel, also hit the bell to make sure that you're notified each and every time when I publish a new video that I make for you, and this will help me big time to be able to create more valuable content for you. Let's start. But before we dig into what is exactly needed to start out making money online with an online business, let's quickly look at the why you want to do that in the first place. Okay, there's various reasons. For me, for example, it was about the flexibility. The flexibility to decide when I want to work, how much I want to work, and from where I want to work, and not being answerable to a boss. But if you need a day off, well, you just don't work or you work at another time. And possibly also more purpose, because if you create an online business around your life and around your passion and interest, actually it's a lot more fun and you can really see purpose in that. Because in many jobs we do things that, don't really make sense, for example. You don't want to be answerable to a boss, if I haven't mentioned that already. And then, the time freedom, if you need more time for the family or for your friends or for your hobbies, then you can totally do that. And eventually, of course, also the financial freedom. Because if you work in a normal job, you're on a salary. You sell your time for money. Maybe you get promoted or you get a salary increase, fine, but there's some sort of, glass ceiling or limit. Whereas in an online business, you have an uncapped potential for your income, and you can do that even while you sleep, and it can be automated to a big extent, and you are free to do whatever else you want to do. To be able to start making money online and to create an online business, there's actually only 3 things that you really need. First, you need a laptop or a desktop computer. Nothing fancy, no gaming laptop, hi-fi, whatever high-end device. It's enough to have a simple office laptop or something. Or you can also have a desktop computer, of course, but definitely you need a computer in any type of form. It does not work just from a mobile phone. That's not possible. And what really helps is to have a big screen, for example, because I like to have more windows next to each other. As you can see here, this setup looks a bit more elaborate, but you could do that all from wherever with your laptop. But that is something you make up your own preference and whatever fits for you best. But essentially you only need a normal laptop and that's it. Then second, you need internet connection, good internet connection, right? Wherever you are in the world, if you have a stable internet, that's enough, because you also might want to watch some education videos, or you might want to publish some content, or you're also probably with some, business fellows or, other people out in the world. You want to have some video calls and you just want to make sure that you have a stable connection. And number 3 is time. You need some time. Time to learn the stuff, to educate yourself on the topics that you don't know yet in your new area to create an online business. And then second, also to create digital assets, content, or whatever else that you set up once, you build once, and once they are there, you will benefit from them for years. You will earn money with them for years and years to come. These are the minimal requirements that you really need to start out. And as you can see, it's not much. And now we're gonna look at a lot of false beliefs and myths about online businesses, what people usually have in mind, what all is required to start. And I'm gonna go through them one by one and explain to you exactly why this is a false belief. You don't need an office. You can do this sort of business from anywhere in the world, from the comfort of your home or while you're traveling or wherever. So you don't need to rent out an office space. You don't need to pay for any sort of office. You can do it literally from wherever you want. And people refer to this also as the laptop lifestyle, but that doesn't mean that you need to be a digital nomad and traveling all the time. As I said, you can also do it just from the comfort of your home. It is totally flexible and up to you. You don't need a team that you gotta manage and that you have to pay. You can pretty much do everything on your own. Whatever you don't know, you can find that out. There's education for pretty much everything these days. A lot of tools are less complicated, and it's literally just a matter of a couple of minutes or maybe hours to get into some topic. Or you can also reach out, find some people online and become their friends and partners where you can ask other people for help. That's not a problem, but in general this is something you can really do on your own. There is no business overhead. As I said, you don't need to rent out a space, you don't need to hire staff, you can do it all from the comfort of your home. You're very flexible, and that's all pretty much that you need. Another fellow of mine, Patrick, actually, he's pretty cool. He's taken the decision this year that he wants to travel, and he and his wife, they took their 2 kids out of school and agreed that they will teach them by themselves, and they're just traveling around the world, and his business is still running because he can do that from everywhere that he wants. Of course, you can work with someone, you can partner up with people, that's not a problem. You can do that if you want, but you don't have to. This is also just possible on the side, so you don't need full time to set this all up. That means you don't need to leave your full-time job for this. You can do that as a side hustle next to your job in your free time. Because anyway, it's recommended that you do that around your own passion. You find something that you're passionate about, so it does not feel like work, but it feels more like really fun. So you can do that in your free time, make it your hobby, and start out like that. And so you don't need to leave your job. It's literally risk-free. You try it out, you set it up. If you're happy, either you leave it and you just have some more income on the side, or maybe you scale it up to a level where you can comfortably leave your current job and just do online business and have a lot of free time and flexibility. That's totally up to you. You don't need a media agency or a photographer or expensive equipment. Again, you can do it pretty much all on your own. When I talk about equipment, most of my videos and most of the content that I produce is actually just with my phone. You might want to invest into some additional microphone like I have here, this one, but that's a couple of dollars, and that's pretty much it. And the rest you can do all by yourself, and you can learn this, and it's actually fun, if you learn this skill. I've got a corporate background, so I have been working in corporate environments in big companies for many, many years. So I also have a lot of corporate friends, and the ones who I work, for example, in marketing, actually it's quite funny, because big companies work with big media agencies and there's a lot of overhead and things which are unnecessary. And if you ask someone in a marketing department if they can do paid advertising, they would, for example, they would tell you, yes, they can do it. And what they mean is, no, they can't do paid advertising themselves. They can't set it up. They just know how to talk to a media agency that does paid advertising for them. You can see there's a lot of bubble and everything. And actually, when you tell people and when you show these sort of people what you can do, even they are astonished how efficient it all has to become these days. Talking about equipment, maybe what you also might want to look at is some, inexpensive lighting, some additional light to make sure that the scene looks nice. And what you also don't need is a professional photographer or anything. Either you ask a friend or you use a tripod with a little remote. There's many, many different ways how you can do that. But, you don't need to spend, huge amount of money for agencies or professional people, whatever. You can really do a lot just on your own. Another big misconception about making money online and starting an online business is that you need a huge capital and upfront investment. Because people, when they think about a business, they think about traditional business and how much money you need there. No, you don't need to pay for office space. You don't need huge equipment. You don't need to pay for franchise or whatever. You can really start out very, very slim. You will probably need a little bit of money for your marketing budget, to create advertisements to pay for advertisements. But you can start out pretty small, and you make your first couple of sales, and whatever you get in revenue, you reinvest into your marketing budget, so you can grow this budget and grow it and grow it and grow it up until a level where you are happy with the results, and only start taking out money from there. So what else do you need some money for? Possibly for licenses for some tools. But it totally depends. Often there's a free version for a lot of tools that you have or that you need. But somewhere you put your focus on, or where you feel comfortable with, you might want to pay, or you might need to pay a couple of dollars. So what are you going to spend money for? Paid advertising, little bit. You can start small. Potentially some online tools, but that's also just if you really need it. You can get around a lot of it also with free versions of the tools. And the last thing is possibly you might want to invest into some education, just to make sure that you don't have to try and error everything that is available on the internet. But if you have someone you trust and you can go through a proven blueprint and step-by-step guide, that could possibly help and boost your progress and your speed. And I personally find the best investment that you can do is actually the investment into yourself, because this will pay off dividends big time in the future, no matter how the markets look like. Another big one is that people think you need a lot of technical skills to do this. You need to kind of program a website and stuff, but that's actually not true. There's a lot of point and click tools these days. You can work off templates. Websites come with a framework, and you can really focus just on content, on writing some text or adding some pictures. And whatever you don't need, just feel free. You can Google a lot of solutions, or you find additional courses if you need to, if you feel this is required, or you can also ask someone else either to help you. If you have some, accountability partners in, say, an online community, they can help you for free, or maybe you pay a couple of dollars for someone to do some specific task. But, it's not a huge mountain, and literally everyone can do it. We have seen people, or I personally have seen people, who were woodworkers before, or construction workers who had no idea, about any technical things, and they succeeded and they make more money than they were ever doing before in their normal jobs. And that even one guy in his 50s started this. So there's no excuse about, hey, I can't do it because I don't have the technical skills. And another funny myth is about emails. So I operate an email list with more than 50,000 subscribers. And there's really people out there who think that I'm sending emails personally. But I would go nuts to send 50,000 emails every single day. So this is all automated. I don't have to do anything with this. But be assured, the content of the emails, I'm writing myself. And if you reply to any of those emails, I will see that in my inbox, and I can get back to you and reply personally. But I don't have the time and capacity to go back and reply to all of the emails. The most obvious ones I pretty much just leave, because there's people telling me, oh, your email was too long, can you please sum it up for me? Excuse me. If you can't even read a couple of lines with detailed instructions and really good content, then do yourself a favor, please unsubscribe. Because how do you think you will manage to create an online business if you're not even able to read an email from beginning to end? And another famous one is people reaching out asking me for money to set up their business. But I'm not gonna do that. It's not because I don't have the funds. I want you to win on the long term. And I don't think it's sustainable to help people just with cash, because you help them once, they'll spend the cash, and then they come back, ask for more and more and more, like a little child asking for pocket money. But actually, it's a lot more powerful, and I do you a favor if I help you to help yourself, because then you're self-sustainable. And as a business owner or future online business owner, you are responsible for your own results. And trust me, that's the most empowering ability once you have realized that. You don't need a website to start in all of this. Yes, obviously a website helps, but if you get started, you can, as you get started, as you educate yourself and learn, you can build your website. And it doesn't need a programmer, and it's not overly complicated. First of all, you can go without a website if you, for example, just have some landing pages, some individual pages, which are set up very fast and just with point and click, no programming or software development or anything required. Or if you want to set up a website, like an authority website, then you can work off templates. With a few clicks, your website is ready and you can fill it with content and really focus just on the content, not on the tech side. Also, you don't need a product idea or business idea or your own service or whatever to get started. Find a community who can help you find profitable products, for example, that you can sell from other people, and you will receive a commission. And also, if you can, get advice from people who already do it to focus you on high ticket items where get a lot of commission. And the great thing is, if you sell other people's products, is also you don't have to do the heavy lifting yourself. You don't need to store the products. You don't need to do customer support or shipment or anything like that. It's all done for you. You just receive a commission each and every time someone else purchases a product that you have recommended. Some people might say, oh, I'm too old to do that. Let me tell you, I've seen people in their 50s who got fired from their job, from their well-paid job. They did not have any clue about online businesses, and it took them like 5 or 6 months until they completely pivoted, reinvented themselves, and created an online business where they are more happy and they earn lots more cash than they were before. You might also think, oh, maybe I'm too young for this, but let me tell you, look at the progress and how the world is changing. And if you learn these digital skills, how to make money online, then actually you're well settled for your future. And I've seen also people in their 20s who set up a successful online business next to their studies or next to their normal job, potentially on different platforms. So they might not want to use Facebook, but rather TikTok, which is more for the youngsters, for example. But that totally depends on your target audience and the sort of people that you would like to reach out to. And what's the next step? How can you get started? Well, you can, do your own research and figure it out all by yourself as a lonely wolf and try and error, see what works, what doesn't. Or you do it the Tony Robbins way, which is like modeling someone. He basically says, if you want to be good at something, find someone who actually is successful in what you want to achieve, model that person, and then become successful yourself, because success leaves clues. Modeling is essentially like copy-pasting onto yourself. Or another good advice is surround yourself with people, who are actually already there where you want to be, because you are the product of the 5 people in your life who are closest, that you spend the most time with, according to Jim Rohn. I personally found an education program that really works, where you can sign up, and they even have a program which is called Earn While You Learn. That means you get a lot of done-for-you building blocks that you can set up on your own marketing engine, on your marketing system, and you can start earning already. And bit by bit, as you go through the education, you can replace the individual building blocks with your own flavor, with your own content, and make it a lot more powerful. You start earning while you learn. So, the most magical moment is your first online sale. When you get this first email that you've made a sale online and you have earned some cash and you get this commission, this is magical. This is when you really understand that, hey, you can do that. And from there, you just have to rinse and repeat. You scale up and you grow because you're already the right direction, You just have to feed the engine and increase the speed, and that's all that you gotta do. If you are a go-getter and you want to start straight away, then check out the 7-day Fast Start video series by my mentor Stuart Ross. And the package also includes a book about authority marketing and how the modern wealthy do it, plus some additional courses. You'll find the link somewhere in the description and you can go check it out. And if you want to get more information, that's not a problem too. First, hit my website, earnitpassive.com, and sign up for the free video workshops, come onto my email list and receive more information and valuable content, and educate yourself and see if that is something for you or not. I want to close this session with a question for you. Asking, after watching this video, what was your biggest myth about what you thought is required to start an online business where you now realize and know actually it's not. Leave a comment below this video. I'm really looking forward to a healthy conversation in the thread below. And once again, if you want to support me, please do me a favor and help me to create more of these sort of videos for my channel. It would be great if you like this video, if you hit the subscribe button, and also make sure that you hit the bell sign so you get notified each and every time when I publish a new video. Thanks!